Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. Excellent panel today. Becky Alley to my right.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is a beautiful Saturday here in Southeast, wherever Detroit we are.
We're all over.
Wherever you can hear us,
right.
It's beautiful out.
All right, Lisa Lawson also comes in, top
Morning,
agent.
everybody.
All right, Lisa, you're great. Always great to have you in here. Look who you brought in. Jacques Gagnon, of course, Keller Williams, Lakeside. Jacques, you've been on the show a whole bunch of times.
Yes, I have. It's good to be back again. Excited. Finally can talk about some fun things. So I'm looking forward to a great show today.
Sorry, we have a little game show going on within the studio. There's certain words you can't say today, but you're only allowed to say the word shift once. Okay?
I bit my tongue already. I'm going to save it for later.
Save it for later. Shift, trend, current market. The current market's the current market, Becky.
Shift happens.
Exactly.
You're done. You can't say the word shift in real estate again.
Yeah,
Jeez.
but it is true. I mean, and obviously, Jacques can attest to this, but the market has completely changed than it was 6 months ago. You're talking about from the offers that buyers are writing. You're seeing some that are going below asking in some situations. You're talking about not as competitive. You're maybe competing against one or two offers versus 45,000 offers that were going on. But granted, you are going to see some of that competition. But, from your perspective, from the market now, from 6 months ago, what's your take on it right now?
So 6 months ago, let's be honest, the market was great for sellers. It was great for real estate agents. You can literally not even put a sign up and your house would sell. Now we're seeing new words besides shift, but we're seeing seller concessions. Mm-hmm. We're renegotiating contracts again. It's actually going to be a more level playing field. The numbers were crazy, and yes, all that extra income is great for the sellers, but buyers were getting beat up. And if we have so many buyers getting beat up, eventually buyers are going to give up. So now's a great time to get back into the market. We're definitely seeing some new things happening here. And words like seller's concessions are going to be back on the table. Seller's repairs, things of that nature.
A couple different ways to go ahead and negotiate that purchase agreement. Again, there's some great windows and opportunities here in Michigan. And I think, too, there's a little window here where it's a little bit slower, but we've always had that Labor Day push. After Labor Day, everyone's back from their summer vacations, and there's always that push, too. Lisa, definitely, I've had some huge Octobers. There's a lot of business.
Yeah, and historically, October has been one of my best months. Year after year after year. It just happened to be that way. Went back and looked at some numbers, and I'm like, I probably out of the past 10 years, 7 of them, October was my biggest month. So that's an absolutely true statement. But I think, we're kind of still a little bit in uncharted territory here. We went through this insanity and it happened so fast, and it was all of a sudden, it's like someone pushed a button and we're like, well, let's slow down the insanity, push this button. And all of a sudden, within like a week or two, I think we all saw it. We're all talking in the office, like, what just happened? You know what I mean? I think that's great. If you are a buyer, you actually have an opportunity now to get into the house that you want. A lot of buyers I know gave up. We've all had them where buyers were like, I'm just sick and tired of it. I don't want to be part of the rat race. I'll try this again next year. Well, maybe you shouldn't be trying it next year. You should be trying it right now. Things have slowed down enough where you are probably going to have offers looked at. You may not have to make 10, 12 offers. You may have to make 3 to get one accepted. You might even get your first one accepted if it's strong enough. But now is the time to really be looking again.
That's 1,000% accurate. And I want to actually open up the phone lines to first-time home buyers, if you're listening, that, if you were in the market and you got out of it, I want to know why. What was really your experience? So give us a call today, 248-539-9797, because, I do feel that there was a little bit of this panic, right? Mm-hmm. You're talking about the buyers were getting really beat up. You're talking about rents going through the roof. Normal groceries are going through the roof. The housing affordability, what they had to bring for down payment, submitting 17,000 offers and getting overlooked, and writing really strong offers even at that, and still getting passed on over this backup cash offer or this cash offer that came out. And the market is totally different now to where buyers do have a little bit of advantage. It's not a buyer's market by any means. It's still definitely towards the seller side of things. So meaning that the seller still has more of an advantage than the buyer. However, the buyers can get their boxes checked on what they're looking for. They can get concessions. They can ask the seller to fix these things because the sellers are needing to do stuff. And I feel like the buyers, the rates are not the problem because the rates affect your payment. And if you can afford, like I said, $2,000 a month in rent, you can definitely afford a $2,000 a month home, right? That belongs to you. What do you say?
Correct. Yeah, so like Lisa, like you were saying, we're in uncharted territory. So this is the reality. Right now, we went from that crazy overpricing. Buyers, we're trying to show houses, and before we even pull up to the door, the house is already under contract. Yeah. So we have that, and then we're going to have a normalized market coming here soon enough. But right now, it's a little different, but it's very advantageous. Sellers are still getting great offers. And, you take out that chaos, and buyers are actually putting smart offers in.
Yeah.
They're not throwing everything at it, and then right before the closing happens, all of a sudden something blows up.
Yeah, or they have buyer's remorse.
Buyer's
Right.
remorse,
Yep.
or they're paying appraisal guarantees, and then the whole transaction just has this sense of just push
Yeah.
and stuff. So we're gonna see something. It's just gonna be more calm, and you'll see the stats and everything's markets crashing, this and the other. Again, nationally things are different than what's happening here. We're very hyper local in our area, Michigan. So the affordability of homes in Michigan is still a great value. Always a better value than paying those huge rent prices right now.
Yeah,
glad
I
you just said that.
Yeah, because me and Harvey were talking about this earlier, and an article came out as far as affordability in Metro Detroit area is 61%. The homes are still affordable for first-time home buyers or even repeat buyers versus your other cities around. Because we're a national lender, so we see all of it. But I'm very happy to hear that Metro Detroit and the Detroit areas, that Michigan is an affordable area for everybody.
And of course, no boohoo to the sellers there. They've already got the appreciation. So
Yep.
again, they've owned the house from 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. So now you're selling it top dollar. So I like that. No boohoo. It's a great time to sell your house. Get that house listed. Call your local real estate professional like Jacques Gagnon over there at Keller Williams Lakeside and find out what's going on in your area. Again, now you're going to be on the buyer side too. If you sell your house, you'll get top dollar for it. A little bit less competition maybe on that other side, though, that buy side.
True. That's the thing about it is everybody wants to sell, but the whole adage is, where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? So unless you have a vacation home or you're going to downsize, move in with parents, or you have another opportunity, yeah, it's great. You sell, you make all this money before, but you have nowhere to go. So this is going to open up doors for sellers that were before stuck because they want to cash in on the opportunity, which is still here. So don't worry. The housing are still going to sell for great dollars. You're going to be fine. But now you have an opportunity to buy something.
Yeah, and then those contingent offers are okay. I have a couple this month where the offer was accepted contingent on the buyer selling their house, and it was also contingent upon the seller finding a house of their choice, and that alleviates that pressure of, like you're saying, that panic. Where am I going? Do I have to rent
Right.
an apartment for a month to month, or live in with move in with my parents? So there's a lot of that. Like that calmness where it's like you don't feel like, I call it FOMO, where people are just coming out like, I got to hurry up and make an offer, right? Because there's that panic of what are the rates going to do and what is this and what is that going to happen? And I feel like we've settled. Buyers are coming into the arena with level heads. They've written an offer or two, and they are now heeding the advice of their real estate professionals, assuming they are in line with really good professionals like yourself that are educating them on how to write an offer that's going to get them what they need, but also get what the seller needs so that it puts their offer ahead of everybody else.
Right. And could, give it an opportunity to get it accepted.
So, Lise, here we are in that situation. So they sell their house contingent upon finding another house. So there's a couple great things that really happen. And that's a conversation I'm having a lot. And I said here, now, as a buyer, now you've got your house sold. You know what you're going to net from the sale of
Correct.
the house.
You know
So
what
now
you're
you got
gonna
the
make.
dollar, right? You know what you're going to make. Also, now when you go out with that real estate agent, that's why I like the agents, realtor, always trying to push this way. Now they know that when they take you to a house, you're excited. You've already got yours sold. You really have a window of about 60 days to go find another house. You're even a more serious and confident buyer.
This is very true. Yep, absolutely. So the contingency thing, and the reality is that buyers can actually see houses now. You can actually go
Right.
see a few houses. They're
Yeah,
going to start
right.
having open houses. We're going to, Lisa, we're going to be doing open houses again, which I absolutely love doing open houses. So it's actually going to be calm. And when things are calm, you could be more rational. The irrationalism of the seller's market that was so crazy was just, it was tough on everybody. Even sellers were nervous because, again, when people make decisions out of force, there is a lot of remorse that comes with it, I feel.
Yeah, I agree with you. People were reacting to the market instead of responding. And
Correct.
that's going to give
That's
you
a great way to say it.
Yeah, two different emotions come from that. So when you and even like personally, right, you want to try to respond versus react, because you're right. Because if you're reacting, it's coming out of emotion and you're not really thinking with a level head when you're like, I got to write this offer and I got to do this. And then what was happening was you're getting, the appraisals weren't coming in and some buyers were having to come out of their pocket quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
And it was taking them back, and some offers were falling apart as a result of that.
All right, when we come back, 248-539-9797, buying, selling real estate. Give us a call. Welcome back to the show. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289, Equal Housing Lender. You can catch us all week long, all weekend long at Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker right here in your own backyard. If you want to purchase a vacation home, we're going to talk about that coming up here. Call us at Capital Mortgage Funding for your best deals, your most organized transaction. We're licensed in all states, all 50 states. And again, I personally do Michigan and Florida. That's where I do my expertise stuff. Becky, you're other states, and you got some other states too out there. So call Capital. We'll get you hooked up. You'll save a ton of money. Also, we want to throw out there, Jacques, of course, you coming in here to the studio. Always great to have you. We started in the break talking about it. Affordability. Becky talked about it when we got in here. Rentals are this good opportunity to get your hands wet. Again, diversification in your portfolio.
Yeah, asset diversification, is key right now. I feel like if, I started my career in 2004, my financial position has changed since then, but that was rough for me to get through. But if I had an opportunity to pick up rentals like in 10, 11, 12, looking back on it, I wish I would have, and now we're in this point where, things are going to start going on sale a little bit from your stock portfolio, right? If you are in a position where you can buy stocks because everything's went down, you're going to see a huge increase in your overall capital. So there is quite a few of my clients right now are investors, whether they're first-time investors or multiple-time investors where they're building their portfolio. There's a lot of people out there that are wanting to capitalize on the fact that these buyers need somewhere to go, and they're trying to hold that monopoly a little bit. So I know that you also, Jacques, you kind of run a lot of rentals right now, and I do feel like, I feel like there's a lot of investors right now that cycle's happening again, where people are they're understanding that real estate is something that is going to be an appreciating asset regardless of the market.
Yeah. So the reality is, I do work with a lot of investors. I also do place a lot of renters, and the conversations that we had before, the prices are too high for the houses, but the other side of it is the revenue you bring in when the prices are high. When prices are high, buyers' affordability is tough, so they do spend a lot of money, and it turns out a lot of them are turning into renters. So prices are going to come back down, or they're going to level out, and this is going to be a great opportunity for investors to get in, either add to their portfolio or start a portfolio. Return on investment is a very, very good thing to have, and diversification. So stocks, houses, multiple streams of income, because you don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket, as we always know. But there is some great opportunity out there. It's only going to continue.
Yeah. Going on the management end of it, too. It's not that hard to have smaller companies. They do property management. You handle a little bit of that. Just touch on that a little bit.
Yeah. So what property managers do is I do property management as well, and we place tenants for you. We handle everything. I have one tenant or one client that lives in California, and he just collects a check every month. He doesn't see the house at all. He doesn't have to touch
Everyone
anything.
needs some mailbox money, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that what it's called, mailbox money?
Yeah. So there's opportunities out there, and you don't have to know how to fix things. You don't have to worry about anything. There's opportunities that you can just pick up a home, have a renter place, and you just pick up your money every single month, and you have an appreciating asset on your book and in your portfolio.
248-539-9797, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, August 13th. A little gloomy outside today. Hopefully you stay safe. If you get out on the waterways, be safe. If you're hitting them some golf balls, it looks like you can get in before the rain comes later today. We also have a full lineup of sports here on the station. Let's go into inventory, real estate inventory. Starting to pick up a little bit. And then again, the old FOMO. I'm listening to it before. I heard my neighbor was going to list their house. Now it's getting a little exciting. We're seeing that inventory pick up.
Yeah, you can actually drive around subdivisions and see for sale signs again.
Yeah, finally.
Where everybody says, "Oh my gosh, look at this! There's all these houses on the market." But if you go back before this craziness happened, that's kind of what we had.
Yeah, we're at pre-pandemic, right now inventory.
Pre-pandemic, yeah. And I wasn't in the industry 10, 20 years ago, but my family was, and I remember going on to tour houses with buyers with my mom and seeing all these different houses, not seeing one or two at a time, but seeing 8 to 9 houses. And it's a good thing for that, because now you have opportunities to see some inventory, see some houses, walk around, check some things out.
And you don't feel stressed out about it as much. And
you actually have choices.
Yeah, and you were mentioning right before about we're going to see like housing prices change, right, and come down a little bit. But the reality is that they're just going to be back to where they were. So if a house was on the market for $260 and you get a $260 offer, that's okay.
Right.
And, so because we were seeing, buyers were pushing the market up because they were coming in. There's a lot of cash in this market. So it wasn't because of overinflated appraisals. It wasn't because of anything other than I wanted that house so bad, I was going to pay whatever it took to get that house. And if that equity comes down a little bit, it's okay. These are going to be your 5, 6, 7-year homes that you are staying in because you fought for that. You deserve it. And you're building your own wealth, right? But the inventory is helping these buyers, I feel, be calm, step into it with a level head because the interest rates have settled a little bit. And we were predicting the rates to be where they were, but granted, we were expecting them to be where they are right now at the end of this year. I mean, so it really went up to the roof like really quick. But
a month or so.
Yeah, but at the same time, now that they're where they're at, the buyers know what they can afford and they know they can go in with the confidence of not having to come $20,000, $30,000 over asking.
Right, over asking or try to figure out where to come up with that money.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't have it, and they were the people who needed that little bit of extra, they really felt like they couldn't be competitive when there were so many bids going in for over asking. They might have had their money, they might have had their closing funds, they maybe even had a couple grand or two extra, but they didn't have 20 extra grand or 30 extra grand. All those people are now in play again. So if you were one of those people who felt like I couldn't compete in that market, I didn't have all that extra cash, this is when you should be getting in because a lot of that's gone. People are getting their offers accepted and they're not making $10,000, $20,000 appraisal guarantees. I haven't seen one.
Exactly.
On top of the fact, and they're getting their offers accepted on the first offer they're writing. I have quite a few of those as well. They're not writing 10 to 12 offers and being overlooked. They're literally getting it in on the first try.
Yep.
My blood is B positive for sure. Americans haven't felt this way in a while, since 2011, where they felt like, oh, wait a minute here, the rates are going up, the prices are going up. That's your indication that some people are bailing out. You got to be a smart buyer in today's market, Jacques, and definitely stay the course. Put that plan together. Again, the more I talk to families, about half and half, 50% of them do have a plan. 50% are, they're not really ready to go.
Right. So, and again, talking about what we just talked about with the appraisal guarantees, a lot of those are going to go away.
Okay.
And while the interest rates are up, no. But think about it, the interest rate is a calculation on your monthly payment. Whereas before we had lower interest rates, but we had this huge chunk of money that the buyers had to throw out in the beginning.
Right.
You're not going to have to do that. You may, but if you work smart and find the right home, you won't have to anymore.
Right.
So yeah, interest rates are up a little bit, but your cash out of pocket in the beginning is nothing like it was 6 months ago.
Yeah, when you look at it, I mean, from 6 months ago, so you're talking like January to now, payments on a $200,000 house is probably $250 to $300 more, give or take, depending on the taxes, insurance, things like that. But at the same time, all that is maybe if you take it down to $180,000, you're getting a true $180,000 house. You're not having to go up to a $200,000 house. You're getting what you're paying for, which is key. And like we've talked about this before. It's never the payment that people are afraid of. It's how much money they have to bring to closing. And right now, there's a lot of down payment assistance programs that are stepping in to help these buyers get into their homes, whether you're a repeat buyer or you're a first-time home buyer. The down payment assistance programs really have stepped up to help people.
Yeah, and there's quite a few of them. I mean, everyone knows Michigan, we talk about all the time, but there's National Faith Home Buyers, there's the Chenoa Fund, there's multiple down payment assistance programs that could help you if you qualify. So, give us a call. We're happy to help. That's what we do.
And all of it starts with a conversation.
All
like
of
you
it
said.
starts with a conversation. I think some people are sometimes afraid just to make the call.
All right, I got to definitely dive into some refinance conversation here in the first half an hour of the show. There's no doubt the narrative of 2022 was higher interest rates, but you're not stuck with that. Becky has that one line, you're marrying your house, you're not marrying your mortgage. That type of thing is always true because you can change this. You can refinance the mortgage in the future. And there's been opportunities always I can look back in the last 30 years, there's always these opportunities to refinance for different reasons. You might truly only keep your mortgage. I think the national average is 3.2 to 4.6 years. So you're probably not going to be keeping that mortgage that long. Don't let the rookie brokers out there scare you away from home ownership in today's marketplace.
The reality is that if you're hearing about it, we're already past that moment, right? As soon as you hear it printed or if someone starts talking about it, we've already moved past it. So like you hear this, date the rate, marry the house. Okay, well, we're past that now because buyers are already aware that the market has shifted and they know that there's going to be opportunities. And I actually had a conversation with a gentleman. He was looking for a cash out refinance. He was in North Carolina. Again, we're licensed in all 50 states, right? And he sent me over a quote. He was like, well, I'm getting quoted 4.5%. I was like, no way. I go, let me see it because if you are getting quoted that, you're paying a lot of money for it. And so he sent it over to me and I looked at $10,000 in points and I said, okay, well, what is your goal? What are you trying to do? And long story short was, well, I'm only going to be in this mortgage for probably 4 years. 5 years. And I said, okay, well then I don't see where it makes sense for you to pay $10,000 for a higher rate just to pay off a $30,000 personal loan when you can have a payment that's $30 more and not have any of that overhead, because you're never going to get that $10,000 back. Now, if this was your forever loan that you were going to stay in it till kingdom come, till it was paid off, yes, okay, but that $30 did not affect his monthly payment. He wasn't going to, I mean, he wasn't going to not afford it. He he could have not afford it. And so like it all started with that conversation because someone convinced him that a lower rate was going to be in a better position for him, and it wasn't. So once we did the math, we totally reversed the thinking, and he saw the perspective, and now we're doing something totally different because he had some bad advice and someone that didn't take 5 minutes with him.
Because someone's rolling that 10 grand into their closing costs. And so when he goes to sell his house in 5 years, he's not going to make that 10 grand. Whereas if he doesn't roll that in, that's $10,000 of extra net proceeds that he will make when he goes to sell. So you have to be really careful and know and understand your numbers, especially in a situation like that. We always talk about time to recoup or cost to recoup.
There you go.
If it takes like 7 years to recoup the cost of a loan and you're leaving the house in 5, that you're literally wasting money.
Yeah.
You know,
not only are you leaving the house in maybe in that time frame, but you might have an opportunity to refinance it. You don't know. You can't predict that future.
It just makes no sense. So you have to deal with somebody that takes the time. And I do that all the time. I tell my clients, hey, here's your time to recoup. It's going to be this many months, 48 months, 27 months, whatever the numbers calculate out to be. We all do it. And so they can make an educated decision.
They call it cruel punishment that the Fed always is pushing up the Fed funds rate, of course, to control inflation. It is cruel punishment. Okay, that's what they do. They make things more expensive for us, but that's how it works. That slows things down and levels off an economy. And right now, that's how it works. I'm not saying it's going to work, but hopefully it does work. You can't change what's already been done, but you can change your mortgage and refinance it. Let's just keep going with the equity portion here. Jacques will get to buying and selling real estate. You got the equity in your house, Becky, but I hear a lot of these messages. They're always big box lenders. They scare me. Hey, hurry up and refinance and pull all the equity out of your house. Please don't do that. And by the way, if you just bought the house a year or two ago, most clients, I mean, I worked a lot of first-time homebuyers, 5 or 10% down. Yeah, you might just have 20% equity. They can't wait to get their filthy paws on your equity. Like you said, giving you, trying to dazzle you at the low interest rate, you're paying for that. You're going to blow money right now. And as much as I want to consolidate people, we definitely got to find out what your current situation is. Becky, I don't want to keep an 18% credit card. And when we come back, we'll tidy that up, a conversation up a little bit. 248-539-9797, buying and selling real estate. Keep it here. All righty. Well, there we are. Welcome back to the show. If you'd like to join us, 248-539-9797. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Show. I'm Harvey Freed. Becky Alley, top 1% of all originators. Lisa Lawson knows more about mortgages than about anyone I know. I'm not too bad. Jacques Skagnon joins us. If you want a great real estate agent, Keller Williams out there in Lakeside. He handles all Southeast Michigan. Jacques, again, thanks for joining us as always. And you're going to be coming to our event. Becky, the whole show almost went without talking. We have the greatest event happening on September 15th. Becky.
Yes, the Hardcore Mortgage Show is going on the road. So we're going to be doing something live. We're kind of like a thank you. We're celebrating our 23rd season being on both the radio and we have our podcast that's going on. So we're going to do some live interaction with some of our VIP guests that have been on the show. If you haven't had a chance to be a guest on our show, we want you there. So if you're in the real estate, profession, whether real estate, title, whatever it is, we want you there. So we're going to be putting out some more details on social media. So follow Capital Mortgage Funding page. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Harvey on Facebook, Instagram,
there you go.
Lisa, Facebook, Instagram. We're definitely going to put out some details. We're really excited to be out there and see as many people as we
actually do it don't realize what building a community and building true wealth is, and that's home ownership. So yeah, it's a great thing.
And you no longer have to, if you're renting in an apartment, you no longer have to listen to people river dancing above you if you're on the bottom floor, right? So I remember my apartment days and pulling up and having to walk up 3 floors with my trying to get all of my groceries in one little trip, and you don't have to do that anymore, and you can afford it. But it all starts with that conversation and that decision to actually just invest in yourself, plant some roots, and make sure it makes sense. And looking at the homes, you can tour them now. You don't have to look at it where 2 years ago it was crazy market. It's settled, and it's time to start the conversation. Don't be afraid of the negative talk about interest rates, because we've all bought and sold homes here at Capital Mortgage Funding. We do this professionally. We've all went through it personally, and we take a lot of pride in making sure that your experience is amazing from start to finish. And it's about going through the rates and going through the payments, and people put a lot of pressure on what the rates have been doing, right? But who cares? Because you can afford the payment, and if you're paying 100% interest while you're renting, why would you not invest in yourself and only pay a little bit of interest?
Right. True. And I think some people are afraid of being rejected, right? They think
that's a good one, yeah.
Their credit might not be quite good, or they might not have quite enough money, or they have this fear of rejection, so they don't try. And I think that's probably more prevalent than people realize. But you can't ever get to your end goal if you don't make the first call. And sometimes the answer is, unfortunately, this isn't something that we can do for you right now, but everybody at this table will help you put a plan into place. So it might not be now, it might be 6 months from now. It might not be now, it might be a year from now. But we will help you do the steps, and we will continue to check back and say, did you get this paid off? Were you able to open that secured credit card? Whatever the situation is, to help you build credit, help you save money. Were you able to put these things in place? So now next year you can be a homeowner instead of a renter.
So don't be going to a spaceship website just to get a pre-approval.
Right.
Because if you get denied, you're going to give up right away, right?
Correct. And I think that happens.
Calling, and Lisa, you're great with this because I do work with a lot of first-time home buyers. she and I will come up with a plan to get you into a home. It may
Right.
not be right away, but she will tell you what you need to do to pay down some of your debt. She wants to. She'll work with you to get those credit cards correct, and she'll get you pre-approved.
I always tell people, anybody who's worth their salt, we should help you maximize your score through the process. And honestly, I don't care if your score's 560 or you're already a 720. You would get a better rate at 740. I'm going to always help
Yeah.
you maximize your situation. So by the time we close, you are in the absolute best position possible to buy a house.
Preach,
You're going to
sister.
have, you know what I mean? You're going to have the best rate you can get. You're going to have the best payment you can get. And all that is an entire, it's an entire process. It's not just a phone call. It's not push a button and get a mortgage. It's not how it works.
Hey, we got a caller on the line there. It says it's Keith. Hey, Keith from Devon Title. What's happening, Keith? Good morning.
Mr. Stonehouse, how are you, sir?
I would say it depends on your situation and
Right.
what the overall savings is. But yes, I mean, like I have one right now where we're saving someone $200 a month, even with the overall interest rate going up, because they bought a house probably 2 years ago. They redid everything and they racked up their credit cards, and now they're a little bit out of control. So in their situation, it did make sense. Now I have another person I just talked to. They took out a home equity line, but where their interest rate is on the first versus the second, their payment was going up $200 a month, and the overall savings just wasn't there, and it wasn't going to do
Right.
them any good. So it is situational, and it's really about what the payment is changing to overall. That it would make sense. So I would definitely say yeah.
Yeah.
Situational, definitely. At least I'll let you finish that, because definitely when you already have like a 3% or in those low threes and
Right.
you're looking at a higher rate, it's got to be the numbers at the end game.
Yeah, I literally just closed one on Wednesday and saved the girl over $400 a month for a cash out refi, and we just paid off all her high interest credit cards. I mean, pretty much we paid off every single one of her credit cards. She wasn't able because the interest was so high. She felt like she couldn't make progress. She's not getting them down, because every time she makes a payment, the majority of it went to interest. So we wiped them out. Her payment went up like $40. That was it. We paid off all of her debt and saved her over $400 a month.
Hey.
So it is situational. We gotta crunch the numbers for you. Make sure
Keith,
it makes
putting
sense.
gas in that boat out there in St. Clair is starting to catch up with you, sir. I mean, hypothetically, you're talking about someone else, right? Okay, I know it's up, but anyways, you can keep those boats there. Get a good dinghy out there. But hey, Keith, you got an event coming up since you already called in. You got a golf event tomorrow or on Monday? Well, I want to wish you guys the best of luck out there, and I know it's for a great cause. We'll catch you next year for sure. And Keith, thanks for calling in. Again, we're inviting everyone to our great event. And that's coming up on September 15th. Becky, we got to tell everyone to check your email box. We can't drive out to every single office. We're going to try to over the next week and invite everyone out there. Again, if you're a local real estate, if you can hear the show, then you can come to our event September 15th. It's going to be in the evening, 5:30 start time. There's no end time for this party. They're going to have to shut the doors and boot people out or something.
Listen, everyone knows I like to have me a good party, and I like to throw me a good party at that. So that is for sure. So the more the merrier. And like I said, we don't get to see everyone in person all the time as much as we would like to. So this is that opportunity where we can kind of connect with everyone face to face. It's been long overdue, and I'm really excited about it. I feel like I love the fact that we are in person. I feel like 2020 was like it. It was like that moment, like in the Marvel movie where people disappeared for 5 years and they came back like nothing
Right.
happened. I feel like that's what 2020 was like. I missed a whole entire year, right? So I'm really excited to connect with the community because we love being a part of our community, our real estate community, our personal communities, and we're here to give back and make everyone a part of our family.
Cool stuff we're going to be giving out actually to get on the show for 2023 and maybe even the end of this year. We have some open spots. We're going to be giving away a couple slots on the show where you can really brand yourself here on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Again, check your email box. We're going to be sending emails out. We want you to RSVP to the event. Want to make sure we have enough food to feed everybody and that kind of thing. But it's a be there, be square. Why? We're going to be talking about real estate. We're going to do a live podcast, and we want to get you up on the stage and hear from you. If you're a top professional, if you're just starting off in real estate in Southeast Michigan, give us a call. You can call us directly at Capital Mortgage Funding. Give us your email address. We'll send you the invitation. It's going to be a happening thing. You can't miss out on that. All right, continuing the conversation. at 248-539-9797, mortgages and real estate. Jacques, some of the numbers are coming in from the National Association of Realtors, of course, qualifying the median income. Look, there's jobs out there. There's 528,000. Payroll was jamming. Good jobs report this past week. But there's no doubt homes got a little expensive there. The wage growth is a little concerning. Michigan's real affordable. You can buy a house here in Michigan and really get what you need. Like, really check all those boxes.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, when we talk about affordability nationally, it's a lot different than it is here for us in Michigan.
Yeah.
And there's some areas of Michigan that are not as affordable for first-time home buyers. I have first-time home buyers say, I want to live in Royal Oak for my first home. It's like, well, what we want and what we need are two different things. So right now, if you're going to be a first-time home buyer or a buyer in general, it's about buying smart so that you can take advantage of the market that we have here. And there's opportunities out there everywhere. But yes, nationally things are a little different. But here in Michigan, especially in Southeast Michigan, in my primary areas that I work, which is Macomb and Oakland County, there's a lot of great opportunities out there.
Yeah, I'm excited. I saw that article that came out about affordability and, renters and things like that. And Detroit, the Metro Detroit area was on that list.
Yeah.
And you're right, but some places are not as affordable. But you're talking the age group between 24 and 35, I think, that's 46 million people that are entering the buyer's market. So the buyers are out there. And if they're not out there, they are currently renting. So if you're in that situation, you need to start these conversations because you can afford a home if you can afford to rent right now in Michigan.
We're not renting, living with mom and dad, and they want to get out.
Ooh, yeah.
Mom and Dad want you out. 248. Definitely
Get off
calling
grandma's
in.
couch.
248-539-9797. We come back. All of your calls. Alrighty, welcome back to the show, 944. Listen to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporate, Equal Housing Lender, at MLS 2289. Always the best rates, the best closing costs, the best offers, and the best
people and personalities.
How about communication, Becky? It sounded like communication. We had a little conversation here at the break. Oh, we got into escalation clauses.
I think we need to talk about this.
Some real estate offices, and they're like getting away from me because there's cloudy addendums written. There's cloudy purchase agreements. What I mean by cloudy is it's not specified what this final price is. What did they really agree? Jacques, my first thing out of my mouth is my thing that I got to bug up is communication. You guys can't do it because some people aren't communicating properly, and I'll throw it out there to you guys.
Yeah, okay. So what we were talking about during the break was escalation clauses, right? So people that don't know what that is, it's like me offering you $260 for a house, but because I want to be the highest and best offer, I'm going to say, okay, well, my offer is escalated max of $280 to beat if someone came in at $270, I'm automatically going to beat them at $280 because I wrote an escalation clause. So what we're talking to the break is how sometimes the information is not properly communicated to the lenders and to the buyers for them to understand what they're getting into. And Jacques was mentioning that their office is actually steered away from these escalation clauses because some of the buyers were confused, not really understanding what they were on the hook for. And it's also confused some of the sellers because they're thinking they're getting one price and something happens and they're not.
And also the agents are confused too. So, agents, we're allowed to write contracts, and these contracts are not
binding,
they're big contracts that
they
have long-term consequences if you do them wrong. So an escalation clause, if it's not written correctly or if it's not communicated correctly, can create a big liability issue. And if I'm a broker, which I'm an associate broker, so I have a little knowledge on that, I wouldn't want to have the liability out of my office for something that was written incorrectly. So escalation clauses are a big thing in the industry. I prefer not to use them. There's other ways to make your offer stick.
At least clean that up a little. So all the offers come in at $270, and the highest. So I have an offer that I wrote at $270. Let's just say I'm buying the house, and I write on there, my agent does, that I'm willing to pay $2,500 over their best offer. So their best offer was $270. So now they accept my offer. They call me back, but then there needs to be an addendum that says we've accepted Mr. Freed's offer at $272. $2,500 over the best. $272,500. That needs to be cleaned up right then.
Yeah, and that doesn't always happen. And when it doesn't happen and you don't have that final step, especially if it's not communicated to the lender, we're ordering appraisals, we're ordering title work, and it all has the wrong sales price or the wrong loan amount because none of that has been properly communicated. And the other issue with that is I've had people come up to me and say, well, prove it. If you have not written in the contract that they have to prove that they received that offer. How do you know? Right. It is. It's easy to write that, but most of these were not written that way. They were just like, here it is. So you're taking someone's word. And there was a lot of issues with, they felt like false and inflation of prices.
Well,
it's a contract.
It goes back to this whole frantic market that we had.
Yeah, the last 2 years, correct.
Agents are just, they're trying to eat. If you're a straight buyer's agent, which I'm a buyer's agent and a listing agent, but if you were a straight buyer's agent, you may not have had a sale forever. You drove around, you spent money on gas, you showed houses, and you finally got one. You're like, my buyer's willing to do this. Yeah. Then I'm going to write. But if you read it incorrectly or you didn't communicate it, another thing about escalation clauses that I don't like is your seller knows what the buyer is willing to pay, but you couldn't get that for them. So there's going to be some animosity there. So the thing about a transaction, and so many agents think that we're in court. We're not. We're all on the same team here, trying to get things smooth from point A to point B, the closing table.
You could be in court if you don't put it in writing the proper way.
This is very true.
In court. So again, I can't get into some details, but yes, if you're a real estate agent, it's so important to follow these rules. Again, I'm just going to protect the brokers out there a little bit. Yes, get with your professional teams. If you're a newer agent, get with the professionals in your real estate office. If you are acting in these escalation clauses, I have this weird feeling that your office would allow it if it was written properly. And some of the offices have already got them already sketched out, Becky. Yeah. These addendums are sort of pre-written, so the language has already been vetted by, let's say, an attorney in their office.
Yeah, absolutely. But the point that he's making is why his office has got away from it is because you can't control every single person. And if that language isn't already, verified, but it's also different because every buyer situation is different. So it's not going to be very cookie cutter when you're, depending on what these offers are. So I think the best thing right now in this market is that communication, like you're talking about, everyone is in the same boat. rowing in the same direction between buyer and seller. And who cares if the offer was escalated to 280 if it doesn't come in at 280, right?
Right.
Or whatever it is. It doesn't matter.
Right. You got a sweet new listing coming up, Jacques. Where is that
so
one?
I have a really awesome listing. She's a great family that I'm going to be working with. It's out in Shelby Township, so it backs up to Stony Creek. 4-bedroom, 3.5 split level. So it's got 2 suites, a main level suite and a junior suite in the upper level. Awesome finished basement. It's going to be hitting the market here in the next week or so. Coming in right around $679,000, $680,000. Great area. Brand new homes everywhere. Reach out to me. Follow my Facebook at Jack G Sells, or give me a call if you want to know more about it. Lisa Loss and I maybe do an open house together if we can get her there. She's a busy lady though.
5% down. I mean, not saying what it's going to sell for that particular house, but 5% down off of 680, I think is 646. I can't do the math. And hey, that's not even a jumbo loan. That's a conforming loan. Those close in 3 weeks easily with your eyes closed.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, you move right in. I mean, it's absolutely spotless. So it's a great opportunity. I'm going to be promoting it heavily on my Facebook, and I look forward to come on out to my open house. We're going to have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, you want to definitely get out there. These open houses, I think, are key. So that way, if you're out on driving around on a Saturday, Sunday, it's your opportunity to get in there, look at these homes, see it for yourself without feeling pressure of, maybe, just for whatever the reason. And even if you're thinking about buying, sometimes the neighbors are nosy. You're going to also get the neighbors walking down the street.
Speaking of the open houses, buyers, if you're going to go to the open house, let your agent know.
Yes.
And if you walk into an open house and the agent says, I can help you out, don't worry about your agent, and I can save you money. Okay, that's not really the conversation that you should be having first. If that's how your initial interaction is going to work, you may not be into it, because if you don't have an agent representing you, and buyer's agents are free, the seller pays us most of the time.
Say that one more time. What does it cost someone to have a buyer's agent?
Buyer's agents are free, meaning we don't work for free. Believe me, I wish I could, but I can't. But the commissions are paid out by the seller. So what we see a lot when we get open house season is I deal with it too. I do a ton of open houses. I work them every weekend if I can. Well, if I buy it through you, Jock, can I save a little bit of money? And the answer is no. Mm-hmm. And second of all, I would prefer that you work with an agent. There's situations where I will help out. There is no discounts to anybody at all. But if you're going to see an open house, let your agent know. And again, get an agent, buyer's agent. They don't cost you anything.
So why would you suggest, right? So why is it better for a buyer to have someone separate represent them?
Because if I'm going to represent you as a seller, and then Mr. or Mrs. Buyer come into my open house, and oh yeah, I'll take care of you, don't worry, and I see it all the time because I do shop open houses.
Yeah.
This is the other agents. Who do I owe my fiduciary duty? And fiduciary is a whole different conversation to have, but I work for the seller, not the buyer.
Correct.
So your best option is always to have your own representation, right? That's I mean,
Amen.
Yeah, your buyer is a buyer. You need someone representing your interest as a buyer. That's it, period.
right.
No offense to the listing agent, but you don't go to the seller and say, hook me up, because they're going to be like, no, I'm hooking myself up. That's what they're there for.
Right.
You need someone to represent your interest. That is the whole point. There are so many other aspects of purchasing a home, from inspection possible issues and everything else, that you need someone representing you as the buyer and your interest as the buyer, not the seller.
And I'm not going to say that it hasn't worked where, yes, a double dip on an agent is representing the house was
It can
clean.
definitely
but
work.
more than often, Jacques, as we talk about the age of our homes here.
But it's
even
not
just,
ideal.
Let's just even talk about the age of our homes and how that plays into it. So 50 years, I think our homes here in Michigan, Southeast, the average age is like 50 years old. So yes, something comes up on the inspection. It's all of a sudden that becomes a little bit more vague. And don't worry about that, because there's just... You can't really always represent everyone.
If you're the seller's agent and you pick up the buyer and you're at an inspection and says, oh, well, we might have a little mold here. It's like, well, if I bring this up to my seller, then they may not be happy with me. So, Mr. Buyer,
Like, it's a
it's
little
not
ugly.
that big of a deal.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
and
we'll put a home warranty on it. You'll be okay.
Kill it with some bleach. We're done.
And the other thing I want to bring up too is the buyer, so for buyers out there, you don't know what you don't know. So like you're already working with a buyer's agent, but then you go to these open houses, right? Well, it's no big deal. I'm just going to talk to this agent. Well, then that muddies the water, because you already have a buyer's agent on your payroll pretty much, not really your payroll, but on your
Right.
team, your roster. And now you have this other agent is involved, and it starts to get confusing. Also, if you're calling a Zillow, like, oh, I saw this on Zillow, for example, and then now you have a buyer's agent, and you're not communicating that. So what Jacques was saying, if you're going to these open houses or you're deciding, well, I didn't want to bother my agent, I just wanted to see this.
Bother your agent.
Yes.
Just a
So what I
heads
do
up.
is I send my buyers in. I will schedule a showing during the open house, and I let the agent know. If I'm a listing agent and I have a buyer walk in, and they are acting a funny way, or they say I would rather use you than my own agent, I'm going to be a little hands off to myself, because if they're going to do that now, what are they going to do during the transaction? So if you're a buyer and you walk in and you don't tell the listing agent, they may lose respect for you and they may have a different opinion on you if you do put an offer in. Let's just be realistic here. It's not always about what's on the paper offer. There's more things that go into an offer, and sometimes it's the personality, it's communication, and it's the way that people leverage each other's personalities.
Yeah,
other
I respect that
intangibles.
you're being transparent about
Yeah.
that.
And it's the truth.
Yeah, I definitely respect that you're bringing that up to the forefront, because people do want to double dip. Sometimes you get 6% versus 3%, and the reality is that the commission does not all go to the real estate agent. So when you're like, oh, I want it discounted, they're spending their own money doing the photos,
Yeah.
staging, whatever marketing they're doing. I mean, and then you also have the overhead that they have. So the real estate agent does not get 100% of whatever their commission is, and I feel like that needs to be communicated as well.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And so I do not offer double dips. If I have a unrepresented buyer, I do not take commission from the buy side. I work for the seller only. I transact coordinate for the buyer. That's
Wow,
the only
that's
way
impressive.
to do
I actually
it.
have never heard that someone openly admit
Yeah.
that and
But
be willing to
because
do that.
if you're going to do it right and be
It's
in
ethical.
business, you better do things the correct way, and that's being fair and honest.
I love
It's
that.
ethical.
Jacques Gagnon, of course, always the
Top
best.
notch right there.
Yeah.
Keller Williams Lakeside. That's where you can find Jacques. He's an awesome guy. Again, you're really being transparent right there about something huge in a transaction.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, that wraps it up for the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. We're reaching out to all real estate agents out there. Again, if you're in the real estate profession, title companies, be sure to check your email box.
Hardcore
Becky
Mortgage
Allen.
Roadshow.
All right, it's coming up September 15th. We're going to keep reminding you every week here. Again, we got sports coming up. Want to thank Becky Alley, Lisa Lawson. It's always the best. Jacques, always great to have you in. We'll see you next Saturday here on the Hardcore Mortgage Show.